Every time I stop, my enemies are one step closer to the throne, so I cannot give up. I will not accept anything less than emperor. It's 2025 as I'm recording this, um, April 18th. The throne is Africa, and the reason why the fire burns so deeply and the yearning so true is because the day you settle, the day you sell the dream, the day you stop, is the day not only my dream dies, but as far as I'm concerned, the dream of all the men that came before me, um, who fought and won battles so that I may one day dream. The day I give up is the day that I give up not only my dream, but the day that I give up their dreams. And from that day onwards, it all will have been for nothing. And I can't do that to them. You know. And so on days that I may not have the strength to fight for my own dream, God forbid such a day comes, then it is on those days, it's on that day that I'm to be reminded that the vision is bigger than me, much, much bigger. So 2025, April, not much of the world's capital, in terms of venture capital, investment in business, etc., is in South Africa. This use nor in other more developed parts of Africa. But we do have an emerging economy. We do have the fastest growing economies in the world in Africa as of 2025. Um, and the revolution that is going to come of this has been a long time coming. And I suppose my mission, um, my purpose and such, is to ensure that this doesn't end up being a situation where we are back at zero, in a sense. Meaning, if the people who end up investing in the businesses that are going to come out of Africa and are going to have major impacts on the world, if the people who own that are the same people who came in and sought to extract resources and did so successfully and still own a majority of the resources, the natural resources in Africa, if the same people who own those natural resources find a way to be the money behind our businesses, and they therefore own the thoughts and the creativity of the African people as well, if they get that whole combination, um, then I fear for the worst. You know, when you think about the throne and you think about taking it and you think about what it means, I believe that one ought to also consider what it would mean for the wrong person to be in that throne. And hence, I speak of my negligence as a crime against not only myself, but a crime against the people who made it possible for a self to one day arise. and have the power to actually do something about it if I just put my nose to the grindstone. And so, how dare I? How dare I not defend? How dare I not fight? How dare I not apply myself as far as I possibly can and do as much as I possibly can, you know, and liberate our people or die trying. And every day when I'm not locked in, every day when I don't apply that pressure, is the day when my enemies get closer to that throne. Because very realistically, I literally just saw something quite recently. Um, and it so happened to coincide with just a general feeling that I'd woken up with today. But seeing that in particular was just confirmation like, man, again, that question, what do you do when 1,000 other people want exactly what you want? Because you sometimes, I don't know, fall into the trap of thinking that your thoughts are unique. Um, and so I I always have this idea or the major overarching dream. You can go back into this in where I talk about the vision, right, for myself within the context of businesses. We're going to start out in consulting, etc., etc., but then eventually we work our way into venture capital, owning percentages of a bunch of African businesses all throughout, and just growing, boosting the economy of the continent. Speaking of the continent as one, and thinking of it as one more so than as individual economies. you know. And so when I saw that video, and it was some guy in the U.S., some guy in the U.S., some guy from Texas, you know, um, and yeah, he was talking about like a similar concept, and then he's the one who mentioned those numbers in terms of like only a certain percentage of the capital is in Africa. Africa has a bunch of emerging markets. The age is on our side as well. The youth is on our side. We're just upskilling, the desire is there, etc. And so there's about to be almost a gold rush of sorts within the next 10, 20, 50 years to 100 even in terms of what comes out of Africa as a result of the information age that we are in now. And so mine is to be at the helm. My mission is to be at the helm of this, is to be on the throne, because there's such a thing as proprietary deal flow, which is deals that flow specifically to you, not just people who are shopping around for a deal, but people who trust you and want to be in business with yourself specifically. And that's the kind of situation that I'm striving to create. Um, when we do get into those situations where we are in venture capital and we are funding these businesses, etc. It's not just a thing of um, I want them to work. I want them to work specifically with me so that we can build something that we can find ways to protect, because we haven't done so successfully with a lot of everything else that comes out of Africa. You know. Um, and yeah, this is not even particularly like a skin tone thing. This is just purely a a play that is based on the motherland. And so anyone who would live and die for this land, and is on this land now, and whose allegiances lie, because there are people who are born with skin like mine, who live in these foreign countries, and they live for these foreign countries. There are people in the French army, darker than me. There are people in a bunch of different places, and they live and die for those places. And I consider you African much less than, some of my Caucasian brothers, some of my Afrikaans brothers, that I grew up with, that I know would literally live and die like on this land, for this land. And so I say that to say that it's not a us versus them race thing. It is a us versus it's a us versus them, um, African versus non-African. And the only reason why there's even a versus there is because balance of probabilities these people seek to exploit. When you talk about venture capital, these people make money according to how much money they deploy, not according to the success and failure of the business. And so their intention may not even be to maximally benefit the people, and to make sure that those businesses succeed, but they are rewarded for pumping as much money into the African economies as possible, and that's how they make their money. They have certain budgets that they want to spend, and if you tell them that you're willing to spend them, then that's what they'll give you. Regardless of whether the business needs it, the business wants it. Is because most businesses die of indigestion than of starvation, is to try and get too big too quickly. Trying to handle way more than what is possible for them at that time. And so, yeah, next 10 to 50, and I'll say even 100, we're gonna need to stay locked in, like genuinely, bro. But not just for a day, not for a week, um, for months on end. You know, I've been abstinent, like this is my seventh month now. And yeah, I'm not trying to say I'm perfect or I walk on water, or that it's always been the easiest thing to do, and then the temptations haven't been there, and I haven't been tempted myself. But what matters at the end of the day is what is. And so I make that example to say, in terms of this locking in, it's not just it's not just a thing where we're saying it. you know my most recent video, a video that I actually recorded and dropped today, which is again the 18th. This video that I'm recording is going to drop on Monday, but on the 18th I recorded a video which you can check out, where the title is God Demands Proof. And so it's easy to say it, it's cute to say it, to say, man, I really want it, I want to be locked in, I'm locked in, I'm doing this and that. And it's cute to say that every time I stop, my enemies are one step closer to the throne. It's cute to say it. It's cute to pretend that that's what you believe. It's adorable to say those types of things. It's adorable to say, I cannot give up. I will not accept anything less than emperor. It's adorable to see that in writing. But God demands proof, you know. And so, yeah, that's just top of mind for me. And yeah, I just would like to put this out there as a sort of reminder that we haven't forgotten the mission, we haven't forgotten the purpose. We are getting more refined in terms of what exactly the vision is, and what our role is in it. I started it like, and it was in the beginning of my YouTube journey as well, or the reemergence as present day, speaking to camera, talking about more serious topics, talking about business, talking about self-improvement, talking about, all those types of things, philosophy, you name it. But you get the idea, you get the scope of things that we sort of cover. In the reemergence very early on, as I first got into this thing, I had mentioned on a video that went viral. It was a short, went crazy on TikTok, like 50 something, 50 something thousand views, I think it's on now, in which I said, they're gonna have to kill me, but Africa will be liberated. Maybe not by me, maybe by my son or my son's son, but Africa will be liberated. I did not know then, I know now, and there's still much to learn, but they are gonna have to kill me. Africa will be liberated. And I want to touch base now, month later, and remind you, or state to you, I have not forgotten this. And I made a decision that day that I would die for it. I still would die for it. Now we are refining the vision, we are refining our craft, but we are also reigniting that flame within ourselves first and foremost, so that we may reignite that flame in others. Don't want to keep you so long. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you did in fact enjoy today's video. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.